Morning, everybody. It's 8:43, and it's time for your pre-opening comment for this Tuesday, the 7th of November. Okay, folks, the only economic news that we had this morning was the trade deficit, which, of course, was a big negative, minus 61.5. Expectations were for minus 59.8. So, um, big whoop, nothing. And to show you just how much nothing it was, at 8:30 the Dow was down 72, Nasdaq was up 3, S&P was down 7. 5 minutes after that, with basically no change in rates, the Dow was down 78, Nasdaq was up 8, and the S&P was down 5. Um, so really no big reaction. The bonds are up 24, 30 seconds, but they've been like that all night. So no big deal there either. Um, and there is an auction. I would expect that the auction today of 112 billion, I think it's 3-year notes, will be more of an influence than this data is. Okay, currently Dow down 72, Nasdaq is up about 4, S&P is still down about 5. UBS had a surprise loss, although it did beat expectations. Stock closed 24.35 last night. This morning 25.15, and that's up about 80 cents or 3%. By the way, Asia and Europe were both lower. WeWorks officially files Chapter 11. The stock has been sitting at 83, 85 in that area, closed 84 yesterday. No action there whatsoever. Datadog with a big beat. Stock closed 79.55 yesterday, traded as high as 101.40. Last is 98.42. That's up 19 and small change, and that is a 24% move. DR Horton with a beat and decent guidance. The stock closed 117.72. Last is 116, down $1.20. But you have to remember, in the last 4 days, that stock has gone from 100 to 120. So pretty much already in the stock. Um, we had a disaster du jour in biopharma, VYTX, that's Ventex. Um, this one has a psoriatic uh, phase 2 trial that came through as a failure. And that stock, which closed at 47 a couple of weeks ago and had news and moved down to 36, and then since then has moved from 30 to 18, is closed yesterday at 14.09. This morning is trading at $3.24, down 11 and change. Um, Pretty ugly. Chart on the screen, also pretty ugly. I mentioned this a couple of times in the last couple of days that while I like the gold long term, I have a problem with the divergence between what the price was looking like up here and the fact that the MACD was looking like it was going to cross to the downside. This, of course, is the daily chart. A look at the weekly shows still divergence. In this one, though, the MACD is diversion is to the upside, where the RSI is crossing to the downside. Still in the area of support, still above 1950, but getting closer to that number, 1968.80. That's down almost $20. And on the day, I don't think it's been much lower, but let's just check. Uh, Low of the day is 1962, so it has been a little lower, but nothing overwhelming. Um, as far as the rest of the futures, we have the dollar up and we have oil down. Saudi Aramco reported a 23% drop in earnings, and they cite lower oil prices. Remember, these are the people who say they're not going to produce more, they're cutting back, they're holding their cutbacks, and yet price continues to fall. This is another one that I was talking about, the moving averages and the MACD moving to the downside. We are just over the 200-week moving average, pardon me, 200-day moving average, which comes in at 78.18. Um, and again, MACD crossing to the downside. So a bit of a divergence there. On a weekly basis, which is the way I really like to look at this, it's a long way off, over $10 off from the 200-week MA. It's right into the support, and that support moves down as low as, let's just call it 76 and a half. So we'll have to see how that works out. Okay, one last look at the stock futures. Um, Dow down 86, S&P down 8.25, and let's see where the Nasdaq is. Nasdaq is currently uh, up $8. There you go. Have a good one, folks.